Wessels. Just a really good shot by Janowski.
So St. Mary's trying to settle it down on both ends of the court here. Last two buckets made by the Tommies. Lewis over his shoulder for Hawk. Underneath, kicks it out to Joshua Dent. Too strong on the three-pointer. And a foul called underneath the basket. That's going to be a St. Mary's foul. It's called on Morauskas, and the Tommies will bring back Ben Osterbahn onto the floor.
And making his first appearance for the Gales, Andrew McKeever.
So Wessels off, McKeever on. An interesting battle to watch here in the non-conference portion of the schedule. Which of these big men for the Gales is going to be the guy moving forward? And you'd expect early on, we saw Wessels, of course, with the start. You'd expect that, a senior who's been in this system for a long time, but Gales are really happy with the development that McKeever has made in the offseason. Ryan Lafferty with it, shot clock down to 10 for the purple and white. Out to Coleman, he'll fire for three, well short, and then over his shoulder was Dufault trying to make something out of nothing. Lewis, quick spin. Hawk fakes in the corner. And now drives underneath. Right-hand finish for Rory Hawk in his first points in nearly 2 years.
And a really nice hesitation move at the top of the key that led to him being able to get to the bucket.
Well, a lot of good things on the horizon for the Gales if Rory Hawk can be the shooter that Randy Bennett and the staff believe he can be. We just haven't had a chance to see it because of the injuries. Step back three, Lafferty was a little off the mark. Rebound tapped out of bounds, last touched by St. Mary's. And we're going to get another debut here as Liam Campbell checks onto the floor for the first time.
You know, Brian, you mentioned the shooting. As good as St. Mary's was last season, winning 29 games, 17-1 in the WCC, the Gales were not a great shooting team. Randy Bennett is hoping that the Gales can get back to their 2010s being able to be really good shooting, along with the defense and rebounding that have kind of characterized this team over the last 4 or 5 seasons.
All right, the Gales largely averaged last year in relation to the West Coast Conference as Dufault pushes one up with the left hand, and the rebound tipped by McKeever over to Dent. St. Mary's shot just 45% from the floor last season, 6th in the league, and they were 9th out of the 11 teams in the West Coast Conference in three-point shooting. Campbell misfires on a three, and a foul underneath the basket. Looks like they got, I think it was Osterbahn on the foul.
And Brian, if I can do a little shameless promotion, the first Kroner's Corner of the season appeared on smcgales.com today, and Randy Bennett did get into in my piece about how he realizes and is a little disappointed in how their offense has not been quite the good shooting team it had been in the past, but he expects it to be better this season.
Part of that, the guy with it right now. And Lewis floats it up with the right-handed in.
I think the two words there were on cue.
Mikey Lewis, one of the team's leaders last season from beyond the arc, 37%. Was actually better at times last year from three than he was from two. 8.2 points per game last season. He's already got 8 of the first 14 for the Gales this year. Janowski working on Lewis and kicks it out to Kyle Counts, who's on the floor for the first time. The lefty shot from Janowski falls. It was a long two from the top of the arc, and it's 14-12. Campbell with it. Redshirt freshman from Meridian, Ohio. Redshirted last year, did not appear in a game. Morauskas fades away from the baseline, and it rolled out. It did a complete 360 around the 10, and now McKeever got tied up with Isaiah Johnson-Arrigu. And that's a foul underneath the basket, and that will send us to a timeout on the floor. Mikey Lewis is having himself a nice first half. 8 points for the Gales, and St. Mary's with a 2-point lead when we come on back inside Moraga.
We rise.